All right, everyone. MTL Sports Podcast. We're back. It's a Monday. NBA Finals. We're through 2 games. Seems like it's been taking forever to get these finals up and rolling. With that being said, so we're going to recap the first 2 games before we get into the nitty-gritty, the season recaps, the ongoing series. I think today we have, who do we have? The Kings, the Thunder, and I forgot who the other team is, but we'll figure that out by the time we get into the first segment. So, with all that being said, guys, please stay tuned. NBA Finals time. Let's recap the first 2 games and what's been seeming like it takes way too long to get these games through. Mavs are down 2 games. Surprisingly, I thought they would split at least one of these games in Boston. Boston hasn't been the best home team in playoffs for the past couple of years. So, Lawrence, I know you told me before we started you didn't watch any of these 2 finals games. How are you feeling about the predictions? Just going from looking at the stat sheets, looking at some highlights, how are you feeling about our prediction of the Mavs, pulling through?
Man, I need a sweep at this point. I had Mavs in 6, man. I need a sweep. I don't think it's gonna happen. So, from what I've seen, I haven't watched live games. I've seen the highlights, which doesn't tell you everything. It just seems like the Mavs are not prepared to play the Boston, and Boston's not even having their best players really. I wouldn't want to say not effective, but they really haven't had an effective play by their better players. It's more of a team overall is doing really good. So either that's more so a at home kind of feeling, or it's more of a they're just ready, I guess, more prepared. But honestly, if the Mavs could, they need to shorten the rotation a lot. I think Exum just looks like he doesn't belong out there. I don't understand the lack of use of Tim Hardaway. I mean, I don't know. I think that would be something that should be studied, is the disappearance of Tim Hardaway come postseason time this season. I don't think he's done a damn thing the entire time, and he's kind of like their guy off the bench. And honestly, to truly say, it feels like the Mavs don't have any bench help in this finals at all.
Yeah, I'd agree. Game 1, I don't know what the hell happened. Seems like to me they didn't come prepared, like you said. They didn't come ready to play. They just got smacked around in that first quarter. As you can see up here, they got outscored by 17 in the first, and that just kind of set them back for the rest of the game. Dallas actually kept it close for the other couple quarters. They even won the third and the fourth, but I mean, you give up 17 points in the first quarter. It's harder to get your momentum going in the right direction. I know Dallas cut it into single digits into the third. I think they cut it down to like 7 or 8. But then Boston went back on a run, and they didn't look back after that. Game 2, though, however, I think Dallas had a chance to steal this one. Like you said, Lawrence, Boston hasn't been playing well either game. Game 1, Porzingis kind of bailed them out by coming out hot and just toying around with whoever was defending him. And then we fast forward to last night. Jason Tatum's still not playing well. JB, I don't think he shot particularly well, but he still gave you 8 of 15 is not bad, but the whole team from 3 just didn't shoot well. And you just got bailed out by Derek White and Drew Holiday. That was the perfect game for the Mavs to steal. And again, Luka's by himself. As Lawrence already pointed out, the bench hasn't been really productive. What we totaled that as 9 bench points. That's not going to win you an NBA Finals. Why Tim Hardaway isn't playing, who knows? Maybe J Kidd just doesn't trust him. But we'll see moving forward if he'll have to bring out his ace. Maybe Tim Hardaway Jr. is that ace that he's keeping up his sleeve. My 2 takes, though, before we move on. Kleber should not be playing. He cannot hit the damn fucking backboard rim, anything. He just looks like he's just not ready to. He came back too fast. Doesn't look like he's ready to play. He can't play defense, so why is he out there if he's not giving you some points off the bench? I wouldn't play him. Lively looks like the moment's a little bit too big for him. He is a rookie, so I'm not holding too much against him. But like you said, Dante Exum probably shouldn't be out there. Lawrence, like you said, and Josh Green. I think he was a part of the squad that went to the Western Conference Finals a couple of years ago. He should be used to the pressure, even if he's not playing too much. Like, come on, bro, you gotta help your man Luka out somewhat. Starters did their thing, but yeah, Kyrie, as I said to start the predictions, I said, hey, they're only going to win if he scores 25 plus points every single game. And past 2 games, scoring 16 and whatever he scored in game 1 isn't going to get it done, as we can see. So Luka's going to need some help. He shouldn't be too down on himself because his teammates don't want to help him out.
Yeah, and there's something against Luka. Luka's doing everything.
Yeah, I mean, 32-point trip dub. He looked like he was limping into the arena before the game. If you've seen his clip of him just walking into the arena, look like he was just barely holding it together and still giving the Celtics that work. Didn't matter who was guarding him, right? He was just cooking everybody. So hopefully they'll rally behind their guy. I don't think they're gonna lose any more games. At least for the next 2, I think they're gonna go back to Boston, tied up 2-2 going into Game 5. What do you think, Lawrence?
We'll see in Game 3. If they come out sluggish in Game 3, mark it down. They might get swept.
Might get swept. We'll have to see about that one. That'd be pretty disappointing for this Mavericks team. They look pretty promising. But enough of that. Let's move into the NBA season reviews and off-season previews. As you can see, we're moving down the draft board, getting later into the lottery. We already covered Grizzlies, Jazz, and I think we did Trailblazers last time. So let's go ahead and, like I said, let's do Chicago, OKC, and the Kings. Starting with Chicago, number 11th pick. They were pretty bad last year. Another year without Lonzo, Lawrence, and I think Zach LaVine went out at some point. So they had the decision to blow it up at the trade deadline for whatever reasons. They still refuse to blow that team up.
Refuse it.
Even though that we've seen the past couple, it's been at least 2-3 years, man, that they had just looked disappointing because the team just can't stay healthy. So, Lawrence, how would you grade their season? Number 1, and number 2, what do you think should be their strategy going forward?
Well, I guess I'll grade their season. I don't know. It's Chicago Bulls, so we don't expect a whole lot of them. But it's also Chicago Bulls, and they were in the play-in last year, and they didn't make it back. So I'll give it a D. They were pretty bad, but they were supposed to be bad, but we didn't expect them to be that bad. I don't know. In terms of like fixing the team and moving forward, it's just a big question mark of what you want to do with the team. It doesn't seem there's any kind of arrow tilting which way the team is supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of hard to even bring up topics about them. I mean, first things first, like DeMar DeRozan, at this point in time, you either make a move to like start winning or you let him walk. He is going to be a free agent, so it might be time to let it just fade into the sunset. The short time you've had with him.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Zach LaVine experiment has been horrible for you. You really haven't done much with him. Honestly, I heard they wanted way too much first-round picks in order to move off of him. So maybe come back down to earth a little bit and move him for some more, depth at positions. Maybe move some pieces that you can live without because you don't necessarily need them. It's more of a nice thing to have, like an Alex Caruso. I mean, you don't really need an Alex Caruso, but it's nice to have one. But at this point where they are, they don't really need one. And then finally, but not least, Vucevic doesn't make any sense on the team based on the way he plays and the way they kind of move the ball around and they want to play. I mean, all of it's just off and wrong, and there's just nothing really. Basically, talking about this team, it makes you feel like you're Eeyore.
I guess that's one way to put it. Like I said to open this, I think just keeping the team together that just hasn't been able to stay healthy doesn't make any sense. Had the perfect opportunity to offload some guys heading into the trade deadline, and they, for whatever reason, refused to do so. So, in my opinion, they gotta break this. They gotta break this damn thing up. I'm right there with you. I'm giving them a D. You know, after last season where they were, even though they kind of sucked last season, but to get what they were last season and get to a play-in spot, and then this year, they don't even get there. So disappointing. And like I said, just keep seeing the same routines, the same outcomes. So you can't expect to do the same thing and expect different outcomes. So we got to break this damn thing up. First, we got to ship DeMar. He's a free agent. Hopefully, he'll be loyal by you and allow you to sign and trade him so you can get somebody back for him. If not, that's one guy you lose for nothing. Andre Drummond played some big minutes when Vucevic was either out with injury or he just needed a couple minutes. Big Drum played pretty well in the backup role. I don't know if a team's going to sign him to be the starter, but he's probably going to be highly coveted. Patrick Williams as well, even though he doesn't really know how to stay healthy either. I still think a team will probably throw a flyer at him. The only bright spot really is Kobe White, who I thought was probably trending down, but this year kind of his stock rose again with how well he played. Down the stretch after Zach LaVine was ruled out for the year. So hats off to him. He really turned around his career. I think wasn't he most improved or runner up or most improved?
Runner up. I think Maxey won most improved, right?
Yeah, I think he was runner up. So shout out to him. He definitely. Like I said, he really turned around his NBA career because people were about to write him off, including myself. So I think you probably keep him, but I think everyone else who you can afford to move, I think, like you said, Lawrence, you probably keep a Caruso just because it's nice to have. You'll flash him in somebody's face, and a GM will probably buy it and give you a first rounder for that. Lonzo's probably gonna opt in. He's probably gonna try to come back. He's owed about almost $22 million if he opts into his player option. So he's definitely gonna try and come back. If he's hopefully he does, but I mean at this rate, I don't know what to believe. And then the rest of the team, man, it's just not many bright spots. I mean, Vucevic, I don't know if you keep him or maybe you trade him. I know you sign him to that extension, so he's there for a couple more years. But like I said, Lawrence, this team doesn't have any bright spots, so their future is very, very dark. It doesn't look like much can happen. Maybe at worst case scenario, they get someone, or best case scenario, I should say, they get someone to bite for that LaVine contract, but no one's done it for the past year and a half. He's been on the block. No one's bid at that contract. I don't think coming off a foot injury, the market's going to be any better.
Nah, then no one wants him for injury purposes, and maybe the attitude, maybe that rubs people the wrong way. The reason why I think like a Caruso is a little bit more valuable on this team, and you can get a little bit more probably for him, because wherever he goes, you can plug a Caruso in, and he'll play really hard. Yeah. Honestly, if a team like the Kings could get a Caruso, it would probably be really helpful. It would probably be really impactful. Because no beef to Kevin Huerter, but they have enough scoring, maybe a little bit more defense on that starting unit, which Caruso could bring. That shooting guard, small forward position would be a little bit more effective for what they do.
Yeah, that's a good segue. Actually, they're our next team. They're not our next team, but we're gonna make them the next team. The Kings, they're in a big predicament as well. A good swap actually, because Malik Monk, Alex Caruso, Malik Monk's moving out. Take his money if they have extra cap space, and then just eat that into a trade. Get Caruso. I think that would work. It's always nice having an extra all NBA defensive team player on your roster. But the Kings got pick 13, pick 45. And as you guys can see, the free agents are, Monk, Alex Lynn, who's somehow still in the league, JaVale McGee, didn't really play, Kessler Edwards, these two guys at the bottom of the list. I think for the Kings, they just need to see if they're going to run it back or not. Do they need to make some changes? That's the big question for them, I feel like. Lawrence, how would you grade their past season? And what do you think they need to do to get back to their surprise run at I think they were the number 2 or 3 seed a couple years ago?
So for the Kings, I think they need like a rangy big. They need a big who's rangy.
Okay.
That can spread the floor a little bit more. Oh, sorry. Sabonis being like your center. I don't know. I just don't like it when on the defensive side. I mean, that's just how they get cut up and exposed all the time. It's just their whole issue is the defense. I'll give them like a C because they did make the playoffs again, but they didn't do the play-in. They were solidified in the playoffs at one point and slid down the brackets, so I can't give them so much love. But I think they just need like a rangy big or a defensive big. Let Sabonis kind of go from center to power forward, back and forth. Just kind of that's why I'm saying more of a rangy big because that way the big can move out to the key or the wing or the corner, and then hope that Sabonis does some damage down low, and then you still have to have the threat of the guy to shoot a three. Unfortunately, guys that can play this position like Brook Lopez aren't available, but if you could have something like that, that'd be really nice. Or you could move and find someone who could play like that. That'd be really nice. These are just little small things that the Kings need. I think the Kings, I think in terms of their guard play, I think that their guards need to be a little bit more defensive because the Kings' problem is not the ability not to score. The Kings' problem is strictly we can't stop people from scoring. So that's why I think the Alex Caruso one is a really smart idea. Did you lose me there, or am I still here? I think I lagged a little bit there.
It's all good. Yeah, I think the Kings also deserve probably a C. I was gonna say C plus, but I mean they kind of fell from last year, from their high last year. Kind of overtaken by some younger teams like the Thunder and the Wolves. So I'll give them a C. They had all the talent, to get back into the same, similar position, but for whatever reasons, they faltered to the play-in. Didn't make the playoffs because they lost to the Pelicans in that last playing game. Some injuries did derail them. I know, Malik Monk ended the season with an injury. So did Hoarder. He was out for the last couple weeks of the season. I think De'Aaron Fox was kind of in and out the lineup at points. So injuries kind of got the best of them, but based on their talent, you think they would have, found a way to have a better record than they did, even though the West is pretty tough. So I'm gonna go for C there. For me, I think we gotta switch it up. I don't think this iteration is working. If I'm them, you probably gotta let Malik Monk go. He's gonna want, yeah, and he honestly does deserve near max money. I don't know who's gonna pay him max money or near max money. Maybe the Sixers would give him a good deal. Maybe the Magic would get him a good deal. One of those other playoff caliber teams in the East who have money to spend, they'll probably do that, which he deserves. So I think you probably move on from him, and then you probably look to replace him via trade. Maybe you tempt the Bulls with the 13th pick and say, hey, you pick 13 and another first rounder if they're, feeling ballsy, and you go get a Caruso. That's a plug and play. Like Lawrence said, you get an all NBA defender who can knock down threes. somewhat of an Iron Man. That works for you. Makes your defense better because, uh, you know, De'Aaron Fox isn't the best defender. He can get steals, but on ball defending, he's not the best. So that could help you out in your backcourt. You still have Horder there to shoot some threes coming off the bench. So, you're not lacking too much in bench production if you can move Horder to the bench. So I think that's probably one way you want to go. Probably want to look into developing Keegan Murray some more. He's shown flashes, throughout last season that, this guy can let it rip from three. And, he's been, finishing the basket a little bit better. Rebounds have gone up a little bit. So I think another year would be good for him. And then, like Lawrence said, you need a true big, preferably one who can, step away from the basket, hit some threes. Even if they don't hit threes, you just got to, be able to space the floor a little bit, Brook Lopez would be the perfect example if he was available. But with the bigs this offseason, I don't know if you're going to be able to find that. So maybe you take that 13th pick and you go find a big in the draft. I don't know. Does Zach Edey hit threes? Maybe you take a swing at Zach Edey.
You can train him to shoot some threes, I would believe so, right?
I think he took some threes at Purdue, right? Or he started to last college basketball season. I believe so.
Or he just threatened the idea of it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to take a lot. Just take 3-4 a game. Just like Lawrence just said, just the threat of you being able to hit a three every now and then is just enough for the Kings. If you can't get that via trade, hey, just go out in the draft and go do it. And then I think, at that point, you just got to keep your guys healthy. I think, they got to work with, the trainers, some of the medical staff just to get these guys healthy throughout the whole season. Because they have all the talent. Honestly, they were just there at the top of the West. I think they have more than enough to get back. I think a little tweak here and there will really do wonders for them.
Yeah, I don't think there's a big. This is one of those teams that doesn't need an overhaul. They just need like a plug-in, just plugins. That's all they really need is just plugins.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that one. Our last team for tonight, we got the Thunder. Lost to the now Mavericks that are now in the NBA Finals. They played well for the first time that this young group has been in the playoffs. Then they sweep the Pelicans, and then they lost in 6 to the Mavs. We just said eventually moved on to win the Western Conference, and they are now in the NBA Finals. So no shame in that. Although I know some of them are kind of a little butthurt that they lost on some free throws, but it is what it is. They made a couple big trades at the trade deadline. One of them being Gordon Hayward, and their GM came out after the fact, and didn't he say that it was a big mistake that they did that because they basically didn't even play him. I mean, you get a vet who could go get you 15, and you didn't even play him. So
kind of seems more like a you problem though that you didn't play him because he's playable. He's completely playable.
Yeah. So maybe that was a costly choice for their young playoff hopes, but they're still young. They still have plenty of chances to go back. Lawrence, how would you grade their season? And what kind of moves do the Thunder need to be back in the same position next season?
I think you give the Thunder an A.
Yeah.
You don't have to look at the fact that they did lose in the championship. Not the championship, the
second round.
The second round, but they lost to the eventual champion. So I don't think you weigh that too hard on them. I get it. The Gordon Hayward thing didn't work out, but hey, it doesn't really hurt you in the end because you don't have to bring him back. Honestly, I just feel like this team, all they did towards the end of the season was they kind of learned what small pieces they need to make it an official team, make it really good. I just think that the biggest key for this team is to finally say, hey, screw number one picks, or not number one picks, screw first round picks. Like, we got plenty in the future. We got enough young talent. Let's go get some vets. Let's trade for a vet. Let's trade for a guy who can plug in like the Kings, plug in and just kind of almost change the whole entire scenery. And
Yeah,
also, if you're the Thunder, I think you're also looking at the fact like you don't want to run this back again, especially running it back again with Shea going to be like such a prime focus for everyone to game plan against him. I get it. People were doing it a little bit this season, but like now coming up to the next season, you are the number one seed. Everyone knows who you are. If I play you now, we're all gonna be focused on one guy, and the rest of the team has to follow suit with helping him out. And I feel like
yeah,
they need one more guy to help Shea out.
yeah. At this point, he has to have a co-star, and I know J Dub, Jalen Williams is projected to be that star, but he's only in his second season. He's going to be going into his third. Is he really going to take that big of a leap on Shea's timeline to be that next star? Honestly, I mean, we've yet to know. But if I'm Sam Presti, if I'm the OKC Thunder, I'm doing what Lawrence says, and I'm going to trade all these picks for a vet. So I think that's the game plan that they should move with going forward. Season, of course, is A plus. No one expected this. The youngest team to be number one seed in the Western Conference. I think ever, right? Or second youngest team ever to make the Western Conference as a number one seed.
Youngest team ever.
Shea was a runner-up for MVP. Arguably could have been the MVP just based off of where the team was last season compared to this season. Huge leap that no one expected. They started off hot, and we've seen teams in the past start off hot and then sizzle out. This team kept the pedal to the metal, like just the amount of just it seemed like poise and just like veteran characteristics this very young team had, which was very surprising. So hats off to them for their good season, but they gotta get this man a co-star. He can't do it all by himself. And next year, like Lawrence said, hey, the target's gonna be on his back. It's gonna be, hey, shut this guy down. You got a chance to win because chances are his team isn't gonna pull out for him.
Mm-hmm.
They're young and young and dumb, just like he is. I mean that's just how other teams are gonna think and game plan around it. So yeah, you got J Dub. Yeah, you got Chet Holmgren. Yeah, you got Lou Dort. But I think at this point you need a bona fide second star. It doesn't need to be a superstar. Could be a borderline all-star guy. Maybe you go out and if the Clippers don't want to re-sign Paul George, maybe you convince him to come back to OKC. Maybe you go get you a Klay Thompson. He borderline all-star. You don't need Klay to drop 25 every game. You just need Klay to get you 18 to 20.
Mm-hmm.
Hit a couple threes. That'd be a nice co-star with Shea if Golden State's not willing to pony up. And you probably don't even have to pay Klay for that long. You probably can just give Klay 3 years. Maybe 3 years, $90 million, $30 million a year. That's probably what he's worth at this point in his career. Someone like that. I mean, you still got J-Dub on a nice little rookie deal, and who knows, he might take that next step next year. And Chet Holmgren, he's only going to get better too. So you have stars in the making, but like Lauren said, I think you need a bona fide veteran, stars, borderline all-star type player to.
You want what you wanted to bring Gordon Hayward in for. That's what you want on your team. That's what you are pretty much looking for. I wanted this guy for this reason.
Yeah,
I'm going to bring in another guy for this reason.
Exactly. And it wouldn't hurt to get in the big as well. I think Chet playing the 5, probably not a strong suit unless he's really going to pack on some muscle. He just gets bullied down low too much, and it's pretty obvious. And in the West, when you got some other big guys like you got a Cat, you got Rudy Gobert, you got Jokic, you got Big Gafford in Dallas. He needs some help. So whether you do that through the draft, go draft you a Zach Edey, go draft you the guy from UConn if he falls to number 12, or just maybe you go trade for a guy. Maybe you go get I don't know. Maybe you trade with the Clippers and get Zubac. I don't know if the Clippers are done with Big Zoo, but if you can get a Big Zoo, that works. He can come in, play 25 minutes, just grab your rebounds and play defense, give you some blocks. It's not too bad. Maybe you bring in Andre Drummond for cheap, make him your starting center, but he only plays like 25 minutes, and do the same thing. There's definitely options out there.
You just got to get creative. And that's how they got to this point, was being creative. And I think Sam Presti will be creative. I think he'll bring in something.
Yeah, he's a very outside the box guy. Just how he orchestrates his teams, how he gets assets together, and all that good stuff. So I'm not worried about that. It's just how are they feeling about winning now? Do you think, Lawrence, that they want to win now, or is it more just about the potential of winning further down the line, if that makes sense? Like, they want the window to be as long as possible, or do they want to go all in right now?
Okay, there's two ways to look at it. I mean, if it was me, I think I would go for more of a long-term winning and hope I win along the way. Because I don't know if I want to sell everything I have out to get to the point to win everything now. Especially with some young guys that honestly you might be able to make franchise guys out of. Like we might be seeing the next iteration of like KD and Westbrook from back in the day with Shea Gilgeous and whatever co-star he's about to stir it up with. So I mean, I kind of wouldn't want to give up everything I had to try to win it all now. But that would also help OKC a whole lot because they do want to win it all. They have been so close for such a young franchise, and to not have gotten there is a little disappointing.
Yeah, I say so, and I agree with you. I think the long window is probably the best play. You have assets that can probably extend the window and give you a really good shot to grab your, probably a superstar player. They got plenty of picks. They could easily trade 5 first rounders and get whatever superstar they want, but is it worth it to have an even shortened window? Probably not. So you probably just want to keep some. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, as they say. But that's all I got for season reviews and recaps. Lawrence, anything you want to add before we head on out of here? I know you didn't watch any NBA finals, but any UFC, any baseball, any hockey that you want to talk about before we head on out?
I haven't been on the biggest sports grind at the moment. I've been keeping it kind of chill and low, hanging low. I've been playing a little bit more Xbox, trying to enjoy the new, I guess, Dead by Daylight, and played a little Rainbow Six Siege the other day. Dead by Daylight is a little too difficult right now. The killer's a little too broken. Rainbow Six Siege, I just got it shoved in multiple times over, so
it happens. It happens.
Just kind of cruising through it.
Understandable. I haven't played the new update, but heard it's a mix of good and bad, especially bad when it comes to the killer. But yeah, nothing for me. I watched a little UFC, but honestly, I don't even know the fighters that well to be able to recap it. But it was a pretty good fight night. I enjoyed watching everything. Some of the fights probably ended a little too early, in my opinion. The ref was being a little quick with his. He doesn't even have a whistle, but just stopping the fights a little too early. I think he stopped probably about 2 fights a little too early. So that was my only issue with the fight night. But I guess you gotta account for player safety and all that good stuff. But I got nothing else to add. So I guess with that, we'll head on out. We'll see you guys on Thursday. MTL Sports Podcast, episode 99. Episode 100 will be on Thursday. So we'll see you guys then. Peace out.
Peace.